Part 1 is a build with me tutorial. If you just want the walkthrough, then click to this timestamp. But if you want to learn how to build it from scratch, then follow along. Let's jump into it. Things we need. We will want a task calendar, a project gallery, journaling system, and an ideal schedule. These will be the recipes for creating an ideal 2024. Okay, as you can see, we have nothing down here. So first thing we're going to do is a database / data and click on table view. Now here we are going to create new database. Now this database will just be our tasks. Now our task list will also be the same database as our calendar view. So here we're going to click on table and rename to task list. And we might want to change the icon. So we'll click here, click on that. I'm going to search list and let's click on this one. This will be our task list. Now I want a weekly calendar as well. So what I'm going to do is right click on here, duplicate. I'm going to write week view, click here and let's do calendar. Click on this one, click on these 3 dots and click on layout and then click on calendar. Now here we don't want to show calendar as month, we just want the week. Now as you can see it looks quite squished, so we're going to go up to the top here, click on these 3 dots and click full width. Alright, so now we have the task list and the week view. Now let's also have a month view up here, so we'll right click on this again, duplicate, and let's call this month view. We'll click on layout and change show calendar as week to month. Alright, now we have 3 different views. We have the task list, we have the week view, and the month view. Now as you can see in the task list here, this date column has been created. That's because you can't have a calendar without having a date field, because otherwise it doesn't know where on the calendar to add it, which makes sense. So I'm just going to drag this to the very left here, and I'm going to delete tags here. Just delete that property. Now what we want to do is connect each of these tasks to a project. So for 2024, you're obviously going to have a bunch of projects. Now I always say that you don't have goals, you have projects. So we're going to create a new database. Now the thing to bear in mind here is instead of writing in your goals don't matter. Lose 10 pounds, start a business, blah, blah, blah. These aren't goals, these are projects. And a project has tasks inside of it. Goals can be very aspirational, but we need to have tasks associated with it. So that's why we're going to do projects instead. 2024, you're setting projects. Now we don't want a list view, that's very uninspiring. We're going to click on these 3 dots and then we are going to change the layout from a table to a gallery. Now you can see these are all quite large, so we're going to change the card size from medium to small. Now let's say you have start a business. Now these are your projects, or you might be calling them goals. However, having these as goals will get confusing because we need to know what are the tasks that are part of this. We're going to click on this plus, scroll down here, and we're going to select relation. Now relation in Notion is just saying, hey, I want this to speak to this database. So we want this database, the tasks database, to speak to and collect information from the projects database. So we're going to click on projects here, so it's coming up in my recents. Otherwise, you can just search here. And then what we want to do is show on projects. So ensure you have no limit, but ensure you click on show on projects. And you're going to see here what happens. We click on that. And now when you click on this, you can see here tasks is showing up. So for the project of get a new job, let's click on that one. What could be part of that? Well, we might have to rewrite my resume, create a LinkedIn account. Okay, that's also part of get a new job. Because get a new job sounds like a very lofty goal. How are we going to do that? I don't know. Well, we need tasks that are part of it. So now if you click on projects, you can see these here at the top. So this is the easiest way to do it, where the tasks show up here. But if we want a different version where the task database is actually embedded in this section and we're only seeing tasks related to get a new job, I'll show you how to do that. So let's start over and just delete this. Delete property, and we want to click on delete. Now we're just going to remake that. Click on plus, click on relation, click on projects, and this time we're not going to do show on projects. Now in here, as you can see, it's not showing up anymore. We don't have those tasks here. So now if we click in here to get a new job and get a new job, if we click in here, as you can see, they're not showing up here at the top anymore. So what we're going to want to do is have this task list show up in here. Now we'll do that last because we'll make it into a template, so we want to be efficient and only do it once. Now for these projects, you might want to add some images, so you can do add cover. To change this cover, just click on change cover, and then here you can upload, link, or use Unsplash. So if I write pink sky, for example, then I can click one here. Now you might be wondering, why is the cover not showing up? That's because the default is actually to show the text that's in here. So if I write blah blah blah, as you can see, blah 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 shows up here. So to change this setting, we're going to click on the three dots, click on layout, go down to card preview, and change that to page cover. Now as you can see, these are showing up. Now what's 2024 without proper reflections and journaling? So to do that, we're going to click on this down arrow here, and we're going to click on new template. Now what we're doing in here is creating a journaling template. So next time we want to journal, we just click on this, and then we will have our journaling prompts ready. Then I'll change this icon. Let's do a little writing icon. And then here you'll put your journaling prompt. If you've seen my headquarters template, you know that the journals are actually dynamic and they actually collect information from your template, but that's very confusing to set up for this video. So instead, we're just going to do nice and simple journaling prompt. Now, a great journaling prompt is, what would make today a success? This is a great prompt that gets you thinking, okay, what's the one thing I need to do today? Questions like this to really get you to understand the direction that you need to take the day. A question like, what's stopping me from completing my current projects, is another great journaling question. We want to understand our bottlenecks and understand what is the thing that's actually slowing me down. Now, obviously, everyone has different journaling questions that they want to ask themselves. So for the time being, I'm going to keep this very simple and just have these two questions, but you can always edit this. So I'm going to click away here. So now when you sit down to journal, all you do is click on the plus, and then here you can see journal shows up. So if you click on that, here you can see journal, and this loads in here. What would make today a success? I subscribe to this channel, and what's stopping me from completing my current projects? But wait a minute, how do I know if I've done this task or not? The journaling, that's just a task for the day. How do I know if it's complete? Well, we're going to need to add a property here. So if we click here, add property, and we're going to make a checkbox property. Click on that, and we will just call this done. We'll click away here. Now what we want to do is show this checkbox on here, so I don't have to click in and then tick it. So to do that, we just go to the three dots, click on properties, and by this done here, we're just going to click on this eyeball, and as you can see, done is now showing up here. And if you don't want the word done here, and you just want that blank, we'll just click in here and change the wording from done to rename, and just click spacebar, and as you can see, it's blank, and now you just have this little checkbox that you can tick in like that. Now because these are working together, if we click to the task list, we can see this checkbox here as well. So I'm going to make that smaller and drag that to the side. If we click on week view, click on today, as you can see, it's not showing up. That's because we have changed that property just for this view here, the month view. So if we click on week view here, we'll need to do the same thing. Click on the three dots, click on properties, and click on the eyeball for this. And now we can see it there. Now the issue with the task list here is we're seeing stuff that's been either done, that's still showing up, or even stuff that's been scheduled. We don't want to see stuff that's scheduled or that's been completed in here, because it's going to end up being a very long list of everything you'll ever do in the future and everything you've done in the past. I would imagine that that's going to get quite complicated. So to change this, we want to change the filter on this task list here. So click on the task list and then click on filter, click on add advanced filter, and then here we're going to change where the checkbox is, we want to have it unchecked. So as you can see, that other task here is no longer showing up. That's because it was checked in. And then the other rule we want to set is anything that has a date, like this journal one, shouldn't show up. So we'll click back on this and add a filter rule here. Add filter rule. And so where checkbox is unchecked and the date, start date, is empty. And as you can see, it's been removed. So now, as you can see in here, we only have tasks that haven't been completed and haven't been scheduled. So looking through here, we can see, okay, you know what? I have a bit of time tomorrow or throughout the rest of the week, but I have a bit of time tomorrow. So we'll click in here and say, you know what? This task, rewrite my resume. Click in here. Let's schedule it for the 28th. As you can see, it gets removed from here and it shows up in here. Now, let's say we don't have time to do it. We can always drag them to whenever we want to do them. Or let's say we don't want them showing up in the calendar. We just know this is something I need to do, but I don't know when I'm going to do it. We'll click on it, and then you just click on the date here, and then click clear. And then what happens is it's removed from the calendar, but it shows up again in the task list. For a great 2024, you want to ensure that you have a great task list, a great way of planning out your week, a great way of seeing your entire month, and ensure that you know all the projects that you're actually doing. Okay, so for the projects down here, we want to now be seeing the tasks that are to do with this project. So we're going to actually click on the down arrow here, click on new template. Here we're going to click on / database, table view, and we're going to select the tasks database, so the one we've already created. So click on that. If you don't see it, then you can just search for it. Then here we're going to click on task list. We want the list version of this because you can copy a view. I'm just going to make this full screen whilst I'm working in the template. So as you can see, I'm still editing the template. Here we're going to call this new project. So anytime we create a new project, this is what's going to show up. Just going to do circle. I want all of these to be full screen. So if I click on these 3 dots and do full width, that means all these projects by default will have full screen. And then in here, we want to do a filter and change the rule and remove this date one. So just remove that like that. And we're going to remove where the date is unchecked. So remove that as well. Now, firstly, we're just going to hide that it says tasks up here. So click on the 3 dots, click on layout, and then here, show database title. Just toggle that off. Then we're going to go back here and we want to group this by the ones that are done and not done. So click on group and then group by this checkbox. So here we can see the ones that are completed and the ones that are not completed. But we just want to make sure that the uncompleted ones are showing up above the completed ones. So to do that, when we're in this group here, click on these 6 dots and just drag that above. Then click on the cross here. Now we're going to click on filter, click on add advanced filter, and we want to have the rule where the project contains whatever this new project is. So we'll click on new project. So then you can see all of those tasks got removed from this view. So now we'll go back to our dashboard and I'll click on get a new job and click on new project. Now, as you can see, it instantly loads in, rewrite my resume, create a new LinkedIn account, and it's showing up with the unticked and the ticked in. We'll do the same thing for lose 10 kilos. We'll get rid of the blah, blah, blah and select new project. There we go. Same thing here, and click on start a business and do the same thing there. Okay, now we have an awesome system for projects. We have the start a business, lose 10 kilos, get a new job with all of the tasks in here. Now, what if we complete a project? We don't want to delete it, do we? We want to keep that information. So we're just going to create an archive for this. So if we click on start a business, you can see there's already a tags here, but if you don't have that, I'll just delete that, add property. You're going to click on select. Click on that. I'll call it archive, and we'll have an option here called archive. And then here you can see archive. So let's say start a business, we've done that, complete, we have done that project, we've started a business and it's up and running. Like I said, we don't want to delete it, we want to find it, but we just don't want it showing up here because we might have 10 to 30 projects and then we might have 50 archived projects and we don't want to be seeing them all in this view. So what we're going to do is click on filter, click on add advanced filter where archive is not, and then click in archive. So now you can see that is not showing up there. So then to be able to find the archived ones, what we're going to do is rename this gallery here to currently, and then right click on currently and duplicate, and we will call this archived. So now we're going to change this filter in the archived, and because we duplicated this, it's actually duplicated this filter as well. So we're going to change to where archive is archive. So now you can see start a business is sitting here, and in currently it is not. Okay, we are very ready for 2024 now. We have a fantastic task list, a week's view, a month view. We have journaling in here, which will show up in your task list. We have our projects in here and all of the tasks associated with that project. But what do we want our 2024 to look like? Well, this comes down to designing a fantastic ideal schedule. So to do that, we are going to go down here and we're going to do / DATA, table view. And then here we're going to create a new one and call it ideal activity. Click on new database. Now this is just going to be a list where we write down the ideal activities that we want to be doing in our week. Then here we're going to do / DA and create a new table view. And in this, we're going to be creating a database of our week. So let's call this ideal week. Click on new database. So I'll just delete this tags here. Delete that. Make the name really short. Now here we're going to go 7, 8, 9, and keep going. Okay, we have from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, so now what we want to do is have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in this database and have that relating to the ideal activities list. So we'll click on the plus here and then click on relation. And then here we now want to link this to ideal activity. So if it's not showing up in your recent, you can just search for it, but it's showing up for me here, ideal activity. So I'll click on that. And we don't want it to show on ideal activity. So we'll just click on add relation. Now we're going to click here and rename this to Monday. And now we want to do the same thing for the rest of the week. And you might want to have Saturday and Sunday too, but we'll just do this for the ideal work week for this moment. So in ideal activity here, you'll write down your ideal activities. What do you do in your week? What does your ideal week look like? You play tennis, you read, you go for a hike. Okay. So now that we've created these ideal activities, when you click in here, so let's say at 8 a.m. on a Monday, ideally you spend that first hour on a hike. Same thing for Tuesday, and then ideally on a Thursday as well, you go for a hike in the morning. And what you start doing is building out this ideal week. What does it look like? Well, you're probably working as well, or you got that business. So let's just say you're doing your business stuff. So on Wednesday, you're doing business from 8 a.m. Then Monday, after your hike at 12, that's when you start doing your business. You work on your business as well on Tuesday. And as you can see, you start building out this really great schedule that you can try to stick to. Now, let's be honest, this looks quite ugly here. So what we're going to do is just add this under projects. So we're going to click plus here and do ideal week, change it to a calendar icon. And then all we're going to do is drag this in just like that and like that. So if we click in here, make this full screen, we can see here ideal week and ideal activity. I'll just drag this above this one like that, and we'll make this full screen, 3 dots, full width. So here we can start playing with our ideal week. I'll delete these here, but this activity is so useful. I've done this so many times reflecting. Honestly, it is the best way to understand where you're going in life and understand, okay, is what I'm currently working on getting me to what my ideal week looks like? Because if it's not, then you might have to change some things. If you want to have a few different ideal weeks, we can put them in toggles. So let's click on plus here, do / ideal week 1, and we'll just drag that into this. And then close it, and then just duplicate this, change that to week 2, and then in here we can do different ones. So let's say read at 8 a.m. on Monday, and as you can see, this doesn't get affected, so we can change this to tennis at 9 a.m. So these are 2 separate ones, but the relation is still there. So you might want to have, okay, this is one ideal week if I start my business, and this is the second ideal week if I get this dream job that I'm after. It really helps to play out the different scenarios by having this option to actually design your week and to visually see what does my ideal life look like. So let's go through our 2024 Notion template. It's a really simple one, but it is the most important things that you need. I've seen a lot of these videos and they are filled with clutter and a bunch of useless stuff that is making you overwhelmed with stuff that you do not need. Firstly, we have our task list. In here, you will write down all of the different things that you need to do. Scroll job listings, and then we can connect that with a project. So right now I have a few projects in here: start a business, lose 10 kilos, get a new job, and ideal week, which we'll talk about later. So this project is relating to get a new job. You can always create a new project either by clicking here, or you can even do it straight in here. So blah blah, and then you click in here and you can start typing it right in here, blah blah blah, and click on new project. I'll just delete that. So this is the task list. Then we have a week view and a month view. These two work the same, where basically in your task list, let's say, okay, in my week, today, you know what, it's pretty empty, I don't have that much going on, so I can rewrite my resume today. I'll click on date and click on today's date. As you can see, it gets removed from here. We have the filter in here, where only tasks that have not been done, they're not checked in, are showing up, and only tasks that don't have a date associated with it. So if we click back to week view, we can see it sitting right in here, rewrite my resume, and we can tick it in. Same thing for the month view, we can see rewrite my resume in here. So how do these connect with the projects? Well, if you click on get a new job, for example, we can actually see, I'll just make this full screen, we can actually see all the tasks in here that are related to it. And it's split up into 2 groupings. It's grouped by the ones that we haven't done, so the unchecked ones, and the ones that are checked in. We can always close this toggle by clicking that, but it can be really nice to see, oh, okay, here's all the tasks that I've done for this project already, and then you can see all the tasks that you haven't done. Now in here, it's showing up the tasks that have a date or don't have a date, and the way we're splitting them apart is if it's done or not. So if I click in done, as you can see, it jumps down into this section here. And we have created a journaling system. So let's say you want to journal today, we just click on plus here, and then click on journal. and it automatically loads in our journaling prompts. To change these prompts, all we have to do is click on the down arrow, hover over by journal, click on that, and click on edit, and in here we can change this to whatever questions that we want and that suit us. By the way, if you've struggled in 2023 with having too much on your plate and it's just been absolutely hectic at work, I recommend taking my Streamline Your Work Life mini course. It is a 1-hour audio course where I teach you how to streamline your workload so you have less stuff on your plate, but you're still getting the results that you need at work. And if you've gotten this far, use code 2024 for 25% off that course. The last part of this simple 2024 Notion template is an ideal week schedule. So if we click on this and let's do that full screen, what we want to be able to do is write down our ideal activities that we're doing. So right now I have tennis, reading, hiking, and working on the business. So then if we click down on one of these toggles, we can see here our week. And what we can do is create our ideal week just by clicking in here and saying, okay, on Tuesday, 8 a.m., I want to be playing tennis. Monday at 2 o'clock, I want to be going on hikes. Wednesday, 10 a.m., I want to be working on the business. And we can start structuring a week to see, is this what I want my 2024 to look like? Because having the most efficient system, the best Notion template means nothing if you don't know what a good week looks like. What are you actually striving for? What are we working towards? This template is 100% free. It is linked in the description. Please enjoy and have a fantastic 2024.